What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm here. We're going to talk about a heated debate in the sports and basketball world community that's been going on for some time. And I'm bringing in somebody with a, expertise and an expert, take on this. And it's the comedy legend, ARIES Spears, coming in live on the phone. ARIES, how you doing?
Yo, what's good, brother? How you?
I'm all right, man. Appreciate you for coming through, man.
I apologize for all the delays and the kinks, but that's how it goes sometimes. But thank you, man.
Yeah, I understand. You're a busy man, and I appreciate you for sticking with it. As far as this MJ and LeBron discussion, this is a heated, discussion that really is between people that ain't seen Jordan play versus a lot of new generation people that think that LeBron is so great. And this is a barbershop conversation. But one of the things that I want to get from you is, from you being a comedy legend, you have met a lot of legendary people, including a lot of hoopers. You've been on Shaq Comedy All-Stars. You've met a lot of hoopers. What is their take on this subject?
Well, I mean, there might be a couple of them that say that LeBron is the GOAT, but the majority of them claim Michael to be the GOAT. And this is guys that have either played against him, played with him, guys that have played against and with LeBron. And the general consensus is that the majority of the players that have played in the NBA say Michael's the best. And they say that if he certainly played in this era with lack of physical defense, and the softness involved in the NBA now, he would easily average 50.
Yes. On my show, I do a little sports topic every Tuesday, and I was talking to some guys, and I was telling them that without even a doubt, like you say, Mike could average 50. I agree, but I broke it down to like even a bare minimum. Jordan could average 40 in his sleep. He averaged 37 without shooting threes his third year in the NBA. And I told him, if James Harden can average 36 today, what would Mike do? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, what do you think Mike would have been able to shoot threes if he would have played today, or would he adjusted his game, or would he just, did nothing?
I think Mike showed everybody, that he could do anything. I mean, there truly were no weaknesses in his game. So, if he wanted to shoot threes, he could shoot threes. But if he wanted to, and the older he got, obviously his athleticism diminished a little bit. And then that's when he became a strong post-up player. And he, shot that patented fadeaway three.
Yeah.
I mean, fadeaway.
That Kobe had cooked.
Yeah. So, Mike's game was totally complete in all facets. So, I don't think there's anything he couldn't have done that he didn't want to do.
Right. Definitely, man. I agree. And so, another thing, some of these guys, they like to say that they don't put an emphasis on Mike showing up to work every day and playing 82 games. What you think about Mike playing 82 games and the difference of these brothers today don't come to work every day?
Well, again, I mean, I always commented, like, I think it's so funny that the first thing all these young people say today is today's athletes are bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic. But yet during the season, these guys take rest. They do load management. Back in the 80s and the 90s, not only was the defense tougher and more physical, and they beat you up when you come down the lane, and what constituted as a foul was damn near assault. But they played all 82 games. They were more durable. So I don't understand why people keep trying to run with the bigger, stronger, faster narrative when, the proof is in the film.
Right.
Guys play 82 games.
Yeah. For real. Now, what you think about when people say, well, LeBron got better stats or Kobe scored more points? What do you think? What's your take on that?
Well, people call LeBron the GOAT, and I'm still partly scratching my head trying to figure out how the hell did he get past Kobe.
Right.
You know, I don't even think he's better than Kobe. And Kobe himself told you on the last dance that everything you see from me, I got from him. So if you want to put Kobe above MJ, that in and of itself is crazy when Kobe Bryant himself has told you that everything he got, that you see him do, he got from the man that created the blueprint.
Right.
And you know, this stat about LeBron having gone to the finals, what was it, 10 times? He's won 4 out of 10.
Right.
Okay, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So if people want to say, well, you know, Michael Jordan got knocked out the first round a lot. Nobody, you lose more than you win. Nobody comes in the league and wins immediately. Everybody loses and gets knocked out before they win. The only player to win when he came right into the league was Magic Johnson.
Right.
He won his first year when Kareem didn't play in the finals because of the injury.
Right.
And that was the historic game where Magic played at center.
Right.
He had a ridiculous triple-double. He's the only guy to win a championship his rookie year.
Yeah.
But people are most remembered by how they finish. How they start. And Mike finished 6-0 in the finals, 6-time finals MVP, never went to a game 7, and is undefeated.
That's
if
right.
you ask me what stat means more to me, I would rather be 6-0 than 4-10.
Right, right. That's facts right there. And also, not many people when they drafted as a rookie get to play with legendary Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the game.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they don't do that.
Throw in Worthy later.
Exactly. As well as many other legendary players the Lakers had always with Magic. But, you know, Magic, I ain't taking nothing away from Magic, but, you know, he came into a better situation than most rookies do, you know.
Exactly. You know, I always tell people, look, put it like this. Would you rather have a big dick that works sometimes 4-10 or an average size dick that works all the time 6-0?
Right. That's true. That's true. You might be, you know, got a big one, but it only lasts a minute. So.
Right. Give me average joint.
Right.
Roll with what works.
Hey, for real. I'm sure the ladies agree with that one too. Yeah. So what you think about, because I was also telling these dudes that Jordan never had a stacked team. He played with a good team, and Scotty, he helped Scotty become Scotty. And then they say, well, Jordan never won nothing without Scotty. Well, no, Jordan was a star before Scotty came. Scotty played damn near 10 years without Mike. He never won without Mike.
Listen, man, you know, Mike was an alpha dog from jump. And a lot of these people who say that, I don't really think they paid attention to what was said through the last dance. Again, Scottie Pippen said he needed Mike to put him up to his wing. He needed Mike to groom him. Mike turned him into alpha dog. Mike was already alpha dog. And it's like, yes, they both needed each other, but don't get it twisted. When Michael left, Scottie could have went, but when Michael came back, they went back to winning. So while they needed each other, one needed one more than the other.
Right. And remember, even in the last dance, they showed Scotty couldn't do it. He didn't want to go in the game. He throwing the chair and stuff.
And it's called leadership.
Yeah.
It's called leadership. That's called mental fortitude.
Right.
And that's what, you know, when people constantly go, well, how was Mike the greatest? It's about rings, and Robert Horry got 7. You know, Super Russell got 11.
Right.
You know, Kareem had titles. People don't understand there's a lot of ingredients that make up a gumbo recipe. It ain't just about one thing. It's about an accumulation of things. Michael Jordan may not have 11 rings, but Bill Russell doesn't have the impact that Michael had.
Right.
Michael changed the game. Michael made it global. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar made the #1 score, but his impact wasn't the same.
Right.
In terms of he wasn't friendly with the media. He wasn't approachable with the fans.
Right.
You know, he didn't help elevate the game to another level from a personality standpoint and from a media standpoint the way Michael did.
Right.
Put all that into an account. And when you talk about rings, I hate when people bring up the Robert Horry thing, because I always say there's a difference between being the reason you win and winning for a reason.
Right.
Guys like Michael Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, these are the guys that led their franchise. Reggie Miller, I could go on and on.
Right.
Dr. Malone,
Right.
That's a major difference.
Yeah, he wasn't even an all-star. He was a role player, which, you know, you need them, but they are replaceable. You know what I mean?
He fell into good situations.
Damn right.
He was with a team who was the reason his teams won, so he copped too.
Right.
He was with the Lakers, Kobe and Shaq, the reason why their teams won, so he copped. Who was that? Three? Well, I mean, copped with them. Three?
Yeah, I think 2 or 3.
So
same with Houston and San Antonio.
Houston caught 2, so that's 5. San Antonio 2, so that's 7.
Right.
Those guys, look at those teams.
Right.
Kobe and Shaq were the main guys. Hakeem was the main guy. Duncan and Robinson was the main guy. It's a major difference.
Damn right. Damn right. And I got a theory about big men, why I could never say they the best. Because no big man can take the ball up court and get his own shot. Every big man, whether it's Kareem, Bill Russell, whatever, they had to have a point guard with them to win. Kareem needed Oscar Robertson and Magic to bring him the ball, to get him the ball. Kareem can't just take over the game like a Mike, Kobe, even a LeBron.
Well, I would disagree with you a little bit on that, because even still, though, even if you have to bring the ball up the court, you got to go with who the dominant player is. And when you got a guy like Shaq, who back in his prime was dominant and unstoppable in the paint, you can't ignore that.
That's
you don't
true.
win those rings without Shaq.
That's true.
Hakeem Olajuwon, you don't win those rings without him. Kareem, you don't win those rings without him.
Yeah.
That dominant center is important. So, you know, I hear what you're saying about the point guard being kind of like the quarterback.
Right.
But even the quarterback needs to be able to either hand it off to the star running back or get it to the wide receiver who's going to make the touchdown catch.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. And another thing about Bill Russell era, it was only like 6 teams. Like he was only him and Wilt was over 7 feet. You know what I mean? Like 6'11".
People like, come on, man. I'm not taking anything away from Bill Russell, but he played in an era where there was only 3 niggas in the whole league. And they didn't even play 82 games. And they didn't have as many teams.
Right.
Like Larry Bird said it himself. Basketball is a black man's game. The best players are black. And if you come from an era where black players weren't allowed to play to the level that they are today,
right.
No taking anything away from Bill Russell, but come on, man, you kind of have to put an asterisk near his success.
Right.
He played in an era where he was a midget amongst men, and yes, being that black players are the best players, there was only 3 niggas in the league.
Right.
So of course he's supposed to win a lesson.
Right. Right. That's why Wilt averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds one season.
Come on,
and didn't come out the game. He played every minute.
Come on, man.
He was playing against people that worked at Ace Hardware. Like, come on, man.
It's like a flat box with a toddler.
Right.
Out of here.
Right. Right. So yeah, they stats is amazing, but it's not. It can't even compare in today's league. It's too competitive, and you know, it's way too many teams, and half the players in the league back then wouldn't even make the NBA today. You know, so they were still shooting free throws underhanded with 2 hands and stuff. Half the league. So, all right. So another person they be trying to say when I'm on the show, and I'm not taking nothing away from Dennis Rodman, and I know you've been working on your Rodman impression. So what people be talking about Rodman or whatever, what would Rodman say about Jordan if he was here to talk?
So Michael Jordan was a great player, and everybody knew Michael was you know, he's a dominant player. He's Michael Jordan. He's Michael Jordan. Nobody's going to be better than him. You know, Scottie Pippen was a great Scottie Pippen. So was a great coach, one of the best coaches. And I just say that when we were a rockstar kid, some people want to play us. I said, that's good. What's up? Let's rock.
Right, right. And so Rodman was a beast, don't get me wrong. And people be talking about some of these people like Rodman was, you know, helping them to be a great team, which he did. But the truth is that was Rodman's really his last 3 years in the NBA. You know, he was at the end of his game. You know.
Not only that, people like to say that you know, the Bulls that 96, 97, 98 Bulls was a super team, which is ridiculous because, you know, Michael Jordan was a superstar. Scottie Pippen, yes, was a superstar. No team went to championship
Right.
Robin happened to be the best rebounder the game has ever seen, but his job was specifically to rebound and play defense, and he was a great defender. So I don't know that they can call that a super team because Robin's on the team.
Right, right. And the Last Dance, and one thing people don't know is Rodman didn't even make an all-star team. It was a lot of other stuff because he should have, but he didn't even make an all-star team with the Bulls. And Scottie didn't even make an all-star team in '98 because Jordan even said in the Last Dance, Scottie was he was selfish in not getting that surgery and missed most of the season in '98. You know, and a lot of people don't realize that was a completely different team, that second three-peat, than the first three-peat. The only players the same was Mike and Scottie.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and it wasn't with stars and stuff. Like they had Tony Kukoc come off the bench, and then that's when they had Steve Kerr and role players. And that's the difference with players today kind of being soft. Mike held them accountable. You know, these guys today, they ready to get traded or quit or, you know, get on social media if you cuss at them in practice or something, man. What you think about Ben Simmons' situation and how he could be possibly one of the best players in the NBA, but won't work on his game, and because he got trashed in the media for being scared to take a dunk because he can't hit free throws, he want to possibly get traded now.
I mean, well, at the end of the day, you got to produce. You got to produce, and the goal is to try to always work on your game to get better. So, you know, I know the fans are real displeased with him, but he's a talented player. So, you know, I wouldn't write him off just yet. You know, I think he will eventually develop into the player he's supposed to develop into. But for him not to be as skillful as he should be, he's pretty damn good. So if he could just work on his game, somebody will pick him up and hopefully benefit once he evolves.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, Ben Simmons, man, he got all the potential to be a legendary player, but unfortunately, you know, I don't think he's working on his game. And what do you think about this? This is one thing Michael Jordan said, is these guys are getting paid $100 million for they did any damn thing. What do you think about having to earn your contract like Mike and them players did versus these guys who got $100 million for they play one game?
Well, the people who are receiving is that you're certainly not bad at it. But I also understand where Michael is coming from too, but I think he's been using the influence of social media. You know, I feel more invested and don't know what to listen up on the next.
You breaking up a little bit. What'd you say?
I said nobody wants to reach out and miss out on the next best thing. So, you know, often hype can get you more than actual substance can.
Right. That's true, man. That's definitely true. And you know, like and also people don't understand, like you were saying earlier, how much Mike changed the game. If it wasn't for Mike, people like LeBron wouldn't be getting $100 million Nike shoe contract before they ever step foot on the court. You know.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it in perspective, you know, for all these young kids, to talk about how much this new generation of athletes is bigger, better, and faster. Whose shoes do they have on their feet when they play?
Right.
So there you go. That's Mike's impact.
Yeah, this dude ain't even played in 20 years, and they still rocking his shoes as if he's the #1 player in the league today. So.
And he's got the #1 selling shoe, and he hasn't played in 20 years.
Yeah, that's dope. And a lot of things that people say that I try to tell them about with Mike versus LeBron is they say, well, LeBron had more assists or pass or whatever. That wasn't Mike's role, but it is years where he averaged 7 or 8 assists or rebounds or whatever, a couple years. Jordan had nobody on his team his first few years. But if Mike didn't get injured his second year and retire twice, his stats would be through the roof because he was 39 and 40 years old his last 2 years and still was averaging 20 points a game. And his very last year in the league, he still played 82 games at 39, 40 years old and averaged 20 points a game both years as an old man.
Also, keep in mind, you know, Mike didn't come straight out of high school. He retired 2 years to go play basketball. And the last year he retired from Chicago, he really didn't want to retire.
Right.
The Jerry's forced him out.
Right.
Some Reinsdorf when they didn't want to respond Bill Jackson. So
Yep.
imagine if Mike came straight out of high school, he never retired for 2 years to go play baseball, and he played an additional year that last year when he retired in '98.
Yeah, he was gone for like 3 years that second time.
Right. And here's another stat for you. Even when Michael Jordan came back to play for the Wizards, he averaged 25 points at 45 years old, which is exactly what Kobe was averaging in his prime.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Mike, man, he put up some stats, man. Mike, and he worked, man. When he very first came back, he still had it, but he was a little out of shape. But that next year, like, he played every game. He put in the work, even as an old man with nothing to prove, playing for league minimum. And another thing that some people try to argue with me is they said Mike got fired because of what he did to Kwame Brown. And I said, no, Mike had to give up his ownership because you can't be an owner with the Wizards and play for the team. And they just didn't offer him back after that, but he didn't get fired. You know.
Yeah, you don't fire Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan walks away.
Right. Exactly. And what do you think about how people try to say Michael Jordan ruined Kwame Brown? Because Michael Jordan came from the school of, I'm going to tell you, you ain't nothing until you get mad and show me you are. And Kwame Brown couldn't do it. So they say Kwame Brown got destroyed by Mike. What you think about that?
You know, I listen, there might be some truth to that. You know, some dudes can't take that. And when you're young and you're coming in the league, and you're fragile-minded, and you're you know, you're emotionally brittle. You got one of the gods of basketball in your ass, it might fuck you up.
Right.
So, you know, maybe it did to some degree.
Man, that's true.
But then again, that shows you the difference between a guy like Kwame Brown and Kobe Bryant. I mean, one of my favorite stories that Kobe always told was he said when he first played Mike, some of his teammates were like, hey, man, whatever you do, don't look him in the eye. He said to them, why would I not look him in the eye? You guys need to understand, I'm that too.
Right.
So, you know, for a young dude to put his dick on the table like that and be like, yo, I'm as dope as him.
Right.
Out of here.
Right.
That shows you the difference.
Right. And that's that old school mentality. Me and Kobe the same age. You know, his birthday a few days before mine. So we like really the last of the old school generation born in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? We didn't grow up with computers and the internet and all that stuff or whatever. So like if somebody come at you, you supposed to come back. You ain't supposed to fold. You know what I'm saying? And Kobe, they said one of his main factors of coming out early is he wanted to play Mike and he didn't want Mike to retire. You ever heard that one?
No, I never heard that.
Yeah, because he came out in 96, which was Mike's first year back. Full year back, rather. First full year back. And he wanted to play Mike. He didn't want Mike to, he didn't want to miss the chance of playing against Mike. So, you know, that was tight right there. And another story that I remember hearing is, remember Rip Hamilton played with Jordan on the Wizards. And he asked Mike, can I wear your shoes? Like be a person that's on your shoe line. And Mike was like, nah, people like you don't get to wear my shoes.
I heard that.
Yeah. But Rip didn't like fold. He worked on his game. And by the end, when he was with Detroit, he was wearing Jordan brand.
Right.
You know, so like that's the difference between like a Rip versus a Kwame Brown. And a lot of people try to argue with me and say, Kwame Brown ain't a bust. He played 10 years. He made such and such money. It's a difference between being a bust and not living up to expectations and then being a bust in life. He's not a bust in life. He made $40-50 million. He played 10 years in the NBA or whatever. He succeeded in life. But as far as being the number one pick do you think it's more emphasis? Because some people saying, well, it don't mean nothing being number one. That means that you had the best projections to be somebody. Do you think it matters being number one pick or no?
I think that listen, there are guys who weren't number one picks and went on to surpass expectations. So ultimately, yes, it's about what you do, but you're a number one pick for a reason. And if you do all the things that you're supposed to do as the number one pick, you're supposed to be followed with all-star appearances,
right?
Get into the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Championship.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be number one to be the best, but if you are number one, you should be the best.
Right. Right. At least you got to be an all-star minimum. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You are projected to be the surefire best, prospect out of all that draft. You may not end up being the best player, but you have to be a player though.
Look, Charles Barkley never won a championship, but he was a several-time All-Star and Olympic gold medalist. He's inducted into the Hall of Fame. His career had everything it needed but the ring.
Right.
And, a lot of guys should have had that ring, but number 23 was in the way.
Right. Charles Barkley just did an interview with Bob Costas. He said, hey, look, if I'd have known they were going to put much emphasis on getting a ring, I'd have joined a super team with Michael Jordan. I would have said, hey, Michael, let's play together, man. I need a ring.
That's not half bad.
I've been working on it, man. But
he said, I try to get a championship.
But yeah. But Barkley, man, he people don't understand how dope Barkley was. I was talking to somebody and they was trying to compare him, not trying to be like they don't know or disrespectful, but they was asking, is Draymond Green a good comparison to Barkley? And I don't think so.
Not at all.
Yeah, not.
You might, in a couple of years, you might be able to compare Zion Williams.
That's exactly who I said. That's exactly who I said.
Or compare him to Karl Malone.
Yeah.
But no. Draymond Green is too light in the
Right. Yeah. Zion Williamson is the exact comparison I use, man. He's the perfect comparison to Barkley, man. And even Barkley, when he got with Phoenix and got older, learned to shoot the three. The three ball wasn't part of their game when they came in the 80s, and by the 90s, hell, remember Mike dropped all them threes in the finals on Drexler head.
Yeah.
So if Mike would have came out today, he would have been working on his three from jump. It would have been part of his game from the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah, so he definitely would have dropped 40 a game. Plus, you can't hand check, you can't touch nobody. Barkley, all of those legendary players, and I know people like to say, y'all old heads always say that y'all people would dominate, but they would dominate this game right now today,
But people got to protect their current generation. So I understand where it comes from.
Right.
But if you just go by the simple eye test and some of the stats, it's ludicrous to think that those old school players wouldn't dominate today's game.
Right, man, for real. I mean, they dominated where you could get your ass beat in the paint. You know what I mean? Right. The Pistons really made up the Jordan rules, which is really one rule: beat his ass. and they got away with it, and until Scottie Pippen got over his little headaches and migraines and stuff. So, yeah. I got one person in the comments said ARIES is the reason I keep peanut butter in my glove compartment now. What's that mean?
That's hilarious. I do a joke about retarded people, and I talk about retarded people eating peanut butter, and I do a physical thing with my face and the tongue, and I said I keep peanut butter in my glove compartment in case I run into a retarded bitch, meaning I would put peanut butter on my dick and she would lick it off with that face.
Oh snap. Yeah, that definitely would come in handy. Yeah, Yeah, definitely. So, man, yeah, man, I think that a lot of players in this era, they got skill, but I think that they got babied. And I think one of the main turning points when the NBA shifted, and they just put this on Netflix. A lot of people younger people don't know or remember this, is that Malice in the Palace. What you think about that incident and the shift in the NBA?
Yeah, I actually talk about that on the latest episode of my podcast, which just dropped today.
Okay.
So we actually discussed that. It was a great documentary, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. And it was cool to see it from different angles and from different perspectives. And yeah, it was some wild shit. But the most thing is, I felt sorry for Reggie Miller, because I truly believe that they would have won a ring that year.
Yeah.
But when you get players like Ron Artest, who's a loose cannon, Steven Jackson, who'll be on his street shit.
Yeah.
It's an explosive mixture.
Yeah. And at the time when that happened, I had just moved in Indianapolis, like maybe the year before. And so I was living here at the time. Steven Jackson had got into it at a strip club one time, bust off some shots, and they get stole on him and shit in the parking lot. Ron Artest would be on one. But they had so much talent, man. Ron Artest was averaging like 25 points a game. He was probably arguably the best defensive player in the NBA at the time. Jermaine O'Neal was still got some goal, 20-something points a game. Reggie Miller was still 15-point producer, at the time. And they had a really good team, and they was beating the Pistons' ass, if I remember right. I didn't see the documentary because I didn't get a chance yet. But I think they was about to win that game. And
they were basically winning the game.
Yeah.
So like I said, man, Reggie Miller being one of the greatest players to ever play. And, Jordan stood in the way of him with the championships. But that was his year.
Right.
And they kind of screwed that up for him. And then the ugly irony of it all is that, both Steven Jackson and Ron Artest went on to win championships.
Right.
The bad guys won and the good guy didn't.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Jermaine O'Neal didn't.
Yeah, and Jermaine O'Neal still pissed at Ron because he wanted to be friends with the dude and talk to him with the dude he was fighting, but he never reached out to Jermaine O'Neal to make up with him about that.
Right, and for some reason, it seems like that event just totally threw Jermaine O'Neal off his game. Because, he was basically a superstar prior to that moment, but once that moment happened, everything kind of changed for him.
It did. He damn near was like, he went downhill. You're right. That's crazy though, because like he didn't get hurt really or nothing. It's like it really did throw him off his game. He was putting up like 20, 25 and 10, and then the next year he barely put up 20. Then he was in the teens. Then he was like off the team and shit.
Yeah, brother, man. I got 5 more minutes left, brother.
All right, no problem, man. I appreciate you for coming through. What's the name of your podcast again, so I let my viewers out there know to check you out?
Yeah, it's called Spears and Steinberg. It's available on all streaming platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Podbean, Stitcher. Wherever you find your local podcast, we on it.
Okay, there you go, man. Y'all check it out, man. They got different topics they talk about. You had guests on as well. I saw on Instagram you got a couple guests scheduled to come up. What's that gonna be like?
I think it's brother Riza Islam, a wonderful lady by the name of Erica Lachey, and we're gonna talk about some of this vaccinated versus the unvaccinated war that seems to be going on, as well as some other things in the Black community and things that we should be educated about.
Yeah, definitely. I talk about that stuff as well on my channel on Fridays, like news, vaccinated, different stuff. And are you vaccinated, by the way?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I am vaccinated myself, although I just got vaccinated a couple weeks ago. I was not necessarily thinking it's the, some proverbial mark of the beast, or they trying to kill black folks, because it ain't like they got a separate vax for black folks and then they got one for everybody else. It's the same shot for everybody. So if they go kill everybody, they go give everybody the same thing. You know what I mean? So that's one thing.
Yeah, and a lot of the niggas that's talking about they trying to kill black folks, the same niggas walking around with guns in their pants, ready to shoot a fellow black person or smoking Newports and drinking alcohol all day.
That's true. That's true. You got a great point there. You know, they drinking St. Ides and Big Bear all night. and they don't know nothing about school. They dropped out, but now they know about, you know, science and vaccines now.
Yeah, everybody's a Google scientist.
Right. So, you know, that's real funny and crazy how everybody say that. And then another thing is, I don't understand. Okay, if you don't want to take the vaccine, that's one thing. But why you don't want to wear a mask either? Why you don't want to do neither? I don't understand that.
Yeah, it makes no sense, brother. It's wild and crazy out here.
It is, man. Well, hey, man, I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you making it happen. You know, I know you're busy, got a busy schedule, and I appreciate you coming through and hollering at my channel and with my peeps. And you know, definitely we can try to make this happen again in the future, man. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you too, brother. And again, I apologize for all the mishaps, but shit just get crazy sometimes.
Right. I understand, man. I understand. And you know, I appreciate you for, you know, not forgetting about a brother and coming through. So you know, I'm trying to do something out here and trying to make it, and I appreciate you stopping through, helping out, man.
You got it, man. Anytime.
All right. You take care and be safe out there.
All right, brother.
All right, and I'm gonna catch you next time you come in town too, man.
For sure.
All right, peace, man.
All right.
All right, man. That was comic legend Aries Spears on the phone. He came through. He gave the interview. I appreciate his time. I appreciate him dropping a little info about what he thought between MJ versus LeBron. I wish I was able to promote it so that more people could have came live. But unfortunately, with things and schedules and everything, I wasn't able to promote it. But y'all know me. I don't give up. I'm going to make stuff happen. You know, that's just in my DNA. I'm not a quitter. So that's why I still use drugs, because I don't quit. No, I'm joking. Anyway, so for those who missed it, I'm going to do a quick recap of it because I didn't realize with a little technical difficulties that the video was it was unlisted for a second. So that's on me. It wasn't public at first. I was wondering, like, where everybody at? I know I didn't get to promote it like I wanted to, but so for the first half of the interview, it was unlisted. So y'all going to have to go back and, you know, check it out. But we talked about Jordan and how many points he could score in today's game. We talked about the difference between Bill Russell's era and what he could do and did do versus this era and Shaq and big men. We talked about, you know, Dennis Rodman. He did his Dennis Rodman impersonation, which is actually pretty good. You know, I did my Charles Barkley.
I said, hey, look, if I'd have known they were going to talk about ring, I'd have said, hey, look at here, man. I'm going to join a super team with LeBron. I want to get my ring so that Shaq, big fella, don't talk about me when I'm on the show. I said, hey, look at here, man. I could have won championship.
Also, you know, we had some other stuff going on, and it was really good conversation. Unfortunate because of unforeseen events and also technical difficulties, we wasn't able to get him on camera, but maybe that's what'll make the next time better. Brother Key, I appreciate you, man, for the support. You already know about the unforeseen events, so to speak, and I appreciate your support to the channel and helping to, you know, keep the lights on and the bills paid, man. And you know, I got a little video or something I'm gonna come through, man, and play. Let's see what I got over here. I need to do a little update over here with some of these videos. But let's see what I got over here for you. Here we go. Salute. There you go. Cheers. So, yeah, man. Definitely enjoyed talking with the brother. His podcast, Spears and Steinberg, aka the Jew and the Jerk. You all can check it out. He talk about a lot of different topics. I didn't know he was vaccinated, but that's what's up. I took the vaccine. I guess I ain't got much to lose. Anyway, you know, tried to make it work. You all know that follow me. I did take a while before I did get it. I wanted to make sure I got as much information as possible. I also wanted to, you know, see what was going on before I did it. And so, you know, we made it work. I eventually got it. Moochie, hey, what's up, Moochie? Sally Ann, Montana Max, talking about that peanut butter. He liked that one right there. So we'll see what's up with that. You know, Key, no problem, man. Appreciate your support, man. You keep it real, and I appreciate that. LeBron trash, Jay, especially now. I mean, I wouldn't say he's trash, but he's not the GOAT. He's a great player, but he's damn sure not better than Mike. He has stacked his teams. And I'm just talking about, and I'm not saying anybody else wasn't, on court production. I'm not saying if a person is a good person, a bad person, a jerk, what they did or didn't do, because I don't know these people. And I can only go off of what I've seen on their job, which is basketball. So as far as basketball, Mike is that man. And also, Aries made a good point. Did LeBron pass Kobe? Did he? I mean, Kobe kind of accomplished it more with, I mean, I can't say less, because Shaq ain't necessarily less. I mean, he's a dominant, great player. And Pau Gasol was no scrub. And when he did win them championships, he had Bynum and Gasol, Twin Towers. But he was that man, though. He was the straw that stirred the Kool-Aid. So I don't know. We'll see. But Kobe ain't no joke. You say MJ, Kobe, Bron, all three greats in their own way. That's definitely true. Definitely true. And we do need to appreciate it while we have it. That's a great point, because actually I stopped appreciating Mike at one point. Like around 97, 98, I didn't appreciate Mike as much because they were so dominant. And I grew up with the Bulls, and Michael Jordan dominated my whole life, damn near. Well, not my whole life, my whole adult life. So, you know, well, my young adult life, rather, I should say. And I just took it for granted that he was going to stop playing again for real this time. I was really sad when he retired the first time, but he was playing baseball and still in the public eye, and was always a little buzz that he was going to come back. And then when he came back, I'm thinking, oh, man, he ain't going to retire again. Mike is going to be here to stay, man. Mike. And then they won 72 games, 72-10. And I didn't even watch every Bulls game in 97, 98, because I was thinking they're going to win. There's no point. And once they was gone, he was gone for good right there, boy. Never again was he in the Bulls uniform, and the Bulls ain't been worth a damn since. We had a little run with Derrick Rose, but you start to realize how hard it is to win a championship, and how rare it is to have a great team like that. And speaking of great teams, me and Aries did talk about you know, the Bulls three-peat and great teams, as well as Scottie Pippen and his role with Mike, and when Mike wasn't there, what Scottie did, and then what Scottie did after Mike was gone for the second time. Because some people like to say Jordan didn't win with Scottie. Well, Scottie didn't win without Mike, and Scottie was with Portland. He was with Houston. What's up with Scottie? He played longer without Mike than Mike played without him. And Mike helped Scottie to be Scottie. You know, Scottie didn't help Mike become a great player. You say LeBron is barely top 10. It's hard to believe how overrated he is. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say he's barely top 10. My brother Key coming through. You say that's something you'll be able to tell the next gen. I got to see Bron, MJ, Kobe play while they were in their prime. That's priceless. That's true. I did live in the golden era of basketball and watch it all firsthand unfold. Kobe played in 96, 97, 98. That's when he came in the league. That's Mike's second three-peat right there. Kobe was 96, 97, 98. So Kobe played with Mike in his second three-peat, and you know, he got to play up against the man when he was in his prime. By 98, Kobe was starting to smell himself. I think he was at around 20 points a game in 98 or 17 points. But in Kobe's first year, he was averaging, I think, like 7 points a game. He made All-Star his second year, averaging like 14 points a game or something. So, you know, D-Wade at his peak is way, way better than LeBron. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I would have liked to ask Aries about that. We did talk about the super teams, though. LeBron got it, whatever. So we'll see what happened. What's up, Moochie? Yeah, I'm working on Raising Canaan as well. Sally Ann, it's all right. I wasn't able to promote and let people know, unfortunately. And so we'll see what happens. I'll just promote the video, and you know, hopefully, you know, more people can catch on later. So we'll see. Yeah, MJ and Doug Collins are the ones that put in the hard work developing Pippen. That's true. And Key, I got another video for you. Let's see what I got over here. I got to put up some new videos over here. I made a bunch of new ones too. So, I got to put them up here. Let's see. Desperado. Sally Ann, I love you. Appreciate it. Yeah, Scottie came in the league 87, 88. He was traded from Seattle to the Bulls for Olden Polynice, who was a big man center. Never really ended up amounting to much. But Scottie, I think, was like the 7th pick in the draft out of Central Arkansas. Scottie wasn't it wasn't like he was the number 1 pick, or they knew Scottie was going to be Scottie Pippen. And Scottie Pippen came from Central Arkansas, which is a small school. I think he probably the only player to make it to the NBA from Central Arkansas. Damn sure is the only all-star from Central Arkansas. One thing about Basketball Reference that I like, y'all know I go to Basketball Reference all the time, is that you can click on a school And when you click on the school, it brings up everybody that's ever played at that school. So if I go right here, University of Central Arkansas, Scottie Pippen's the only player to ever make the NBA. The only player in the history of that school. So that just shows how rare Scottie Pippen was, man. He's the only player in history of that school to make it to the NBA. He was 5th overall. I said 7th. He was the 5th pick. The only player to make it, and Jerry Krause gave him that shot, which if he didn't, Scottie Pippen probably would have went further down in the draft. Not that Scottie wasn't a great, projected to be a great, well, not a great player, but a good prospect, because he was 6'7", 6'8", 210. But Jerry Krause saw him as perfect for playing with Michael Jordan because he had the skills that would complement Jordan. Whereas if somebody else may have picked him, they may have been trying to make him into something that, he probably wasn't built for or ready for. And as you see, Scottie Pippen first year, 7.9. His second year, 14. He didn't make All-Star until his third year in the NBA at 16.5 points, which was in 1990. That's the year they was going up against the Pistons and he had the migraine. The very next year they won the championship in 91. He didn't even make All-Star that year in 91. The first three-peat, Scottie wasn't even an All-Star in 91. And he averaged 17.8, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. He played 82 games, so it wasn't like he was injured and couldn't play in the All-Star game. You see what I'm saying? And back then, players played more minutes too. 38 minutes, 36, 38, 38, 38, 38. Like this man damn near played 40 minutes a game until he was 33 years old when he was with Houston. Then when he was 34 with Portland, he started playing 33 minutes or less. And he played with Portland for what? 4 years. People leave out he didn't win with Portland for 4 years. And Portland had a squad. They had a super team back in that day with Damon Stoudemire, Rasheed Wallace, Steve Smith, Scottie Pippen. Like they almost beat the Lakers. But Scottie was no longer Scottie. When he was there in Portland, with Houston, he averaged 14.5. With Portland the next year, 12, 11, 10, 10. He was like a point forward back then. That's what he really was. 5 assists, 5.9, 4.5. Although he did average 7 assists this year, in 92 with the Bulls. That's the year of the Dream Team as well, which Scottie wouldn't have been on the Dream Team if not for Jordan. I mean, at the time and when they went to Barcelona, Scottie was a 2-time All-Star, That was more deserving than James Worthy, who was like an 8-time All-Star at the time. Over 2-time All-Star that was 26 years old. But that was Jordan, man. And they were coming off a championship, 2 championships. So he went to the Dream Team in 92. So, Scottie whole career, he got a lot of things to go with Jordan. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to diss Scottie or take nothing away. Scottie is a legendary player, but he wasn't no Mike. And without Mike, who knows what he could have been. He might have got to 7 or 14 points, but who knows what he may have did after that. So he became a defensive player and everything. Defensive star, legendary. Yeah, top 5 defender of all time. And I would say that as well. But you say Bill Russell, I don't know about Bill Russell. You guys got to watch the Aries Spears, the beginning of this again, when he talk about Bill Russell. Gary Payton, Rodman, Hakeem, and Pippen are top 5. I wouldn't put Bill Russell in there just because we didn't see him play against real competition other than Wilt Chamberlain. And Wilt Chamberlain used to bust his head every time they played. Every time. Wilt Chamberlain just never had as good of a team. One thing I like about basketball reference is you can go with head-to-head games. So if I go to Bill Russell right here, if I go to head with him against Wilt Chamberlain, let's see. Game Finder. Where's the head-to-head? Streak Finder. Head-to-head Finder. So we can go head-to-head and see what he did against Wilt Chamberlain, because that was his biggest competition, really. So Bill Russell won 57. They played 94 games against each other. Damn. Bill Russell won more because the Celtics had 10 Hall of Famers. But if we look at the stats, he would put up 14 points and 22 rebounds. Okay? 22 rebounds. I mean, if you're the only black dude on the team that's and you are 6'11" and everybody else is 5'5", it's a big difference. But anyway, they had power forwards back then that was 6'6". But he put up 14 points, 22 rebounds against Wilt. Wilt would put up 29.9. He doubled his ass. 29.9 and then 28 boards. So when he went up against somebody that was equal to him, Wilt bust his head. Wilt doubled his points, 29.9. He didn't double his rebounds, but he out-rebounded him with 28 rebounds. Bill Russell averaged 4 free throw attempts a game, whereas Wilt would average 12 free throws a game. Bill Russell would shoot 37% against Wilt. But Wilt would drop 48%. He damn near shot 50% on Bill Russell. So Bill Russell couldn't even stop Wilt Chamberlain from hitting half his shots. So, you know, and Wilt played 47 minutes a game on average against Bill Russell. He played 47 minutes. For those that don't know, basketball is a 48-minute a game sport. So he averaged every minute of the game except for one. He took a 1-minute break. So Bill Russell wasn't even wearing him down, making him tired. Wilt Chamberlain was a freak of nature on that one, though, man. I mean, if Wilt Chamberlain had better teams, then he would have dominated. They would have won. I mean, look at this. You can look at this right here. Wilt was dropping 48 points to his 15, 43 to 13, 43 to 20, 25, 20, 53 to 22. In the playoffs, they played 49 games against each other in the playoffs. It was a lot closer in the playoffs, though. 29 to 20 in wins. Bill Russell averaged 15 points, 25 rebounds. Wilt averaged 25 points, 28 rebounds. Bill Russell, man, that's why I like modern technology, because we could get all these stats and get a lot of this stuff. Bill Russell was not as tall as Wilt, but Bill Russell was taller than everybody else in the league other than Wilt. So that's his closest comparison. They were contemporaries, you know. So he could be a great defender against everybody that's 5'9". But when he had to really defend somebody just as good as him, he wasn't able to do it. It wasn't the same. So that's all I'm saying. Not to take away from Bill Russell. He was 6'10". I think Wilt Chamberlain was like 7'1". So he gave up like 3 inches. Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain 7'1". So he gave up, you know, a few inches. What, 3 to 4 inches? Bill Russell didn't play his last year at 37. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain. Didn't play when he was 37. Even at 36 years old in the 70s, Wilt Chamberlain played 82 games, played 43 minutes a game. He played, and that was the damn near the lowest he ever played. He played 42 minutes. That's the high, career high for most players. That was his low, 42, 43 minutes a game. He still averaged at 36 years old in the 70s with more competition, 13 points and 18.6 rebounds. 18 rebounds, 19, 18, 18, 21, 23, 24, 24, 22, 20. Man, Wilt was a beast. Now, averaging 50 points and 25 rebounds, that ain't even really doable today. It's too much competition. And you damn sure ain't playing no 48 minutes a game. He played 48.5 minutes that season. That means that he played every single minute of every game and overtimes. So Wilt did give it to Kareem as well, but they didn't play against each other as much because, you know, Kareem is younger than Wilt. So, you know, yeah. So, yeah, man, I don't want to take nothing away from Bill Russell. Don't get me wrong. But he wasn't even on the same level as Wilt. And that was the person he was supposed to defend and shut down. You know, he could only be a great defender against the smaller guys. And not to say or diss white people, but the competition level, like Aries was saying, basketball was still somewhat segregated. Although Bill Russell and others was in the NBA, they were still limiting how many African Americans could play in the NBA. And the league was smaller, shorter. It just wasn't even the same. So, you know, Oscar Robertson just said that it's totally unfair Westbrook didn't win MVP after averaging a triple-double last year. I mean, Westbrook averaged it 3 or 4 times. That's another thing of taking it for granted. People taking it for granted now. Westbrook, man, I don't think we'll ever see. LeBron James ain't averaged a triple-double, and look how big he is. Michael Jordan didn't want to. He could have. I think Mike could have did anything. I'm sorry. I think LeBron could if he really wanted to. He got the size and the skill set. Hell, if Russell Westbrook can average a triple-double at 6 foot tall, any of these great players could probably. But it takes a lot of work. You got to have a hell of a motor. It's easier if you're bigger because you can rebound easier. You know, and you can score easier. But Westbrook averaged a 30-point triple-double. A 30-point, not a 10-point, you know, so, or a 15-point, a 30-point, which is like, it's hard to average 30 points in the NBA. And he averaged 10 rebounds and 10 assists. Westbrook has a motor that ain't never been seen before in the NBA. I just wish he learned how to shoot threes better. Westbrook could probably be arguably a top 5 greatest player if he did. Easy. I really believe that. I mean, Westbrook already a Hall of Famer first ballot, without a doubt. Even if he retired today and never won a championship, Westbrook is a first ballot Hall of Famer. So taking that, getting that championship as the second or third best player on that team, or 1A or 1B or whatever, I think it's going to really put him through. What's up, Miss Crafty? How you doing, girl? All right, I'm about to get up out of here. You know what? I forgot to put in the link if y'all want to come through and talk right quick. I'll put in the link. We could chop it up for a second if anybody want to come up and talk. And then, you know, I give a couple minutes to see if anybody want to come up. And then if not, I'm going to wrap it up. And so, you know, I forgot about the link. I started getting into my basketball bag, man, and I get going, man. I just looked at the time. But you know, I normally don't go live in the afternoon, so I know a lot of people wasn't expecting it. So all of you all that came through, I really appreciate it. I appreciate everybody sticking with me and on Discord and working, you know, with supporting me. We're trying to bring Aries Spears on the show. I really appreciate Aries Spears for coming through and making it happen. It's been a lot of ups and downs trying to get it scheduled. I appreciate him for not giving up. My brother Key Malik, what's up, my brother? How you doing?
Jay, man, what's going on, big dog? I see you got Aries up here. Great live, man. Great live. Good conversation. I wanted to. There's some interesting facts I just wanted to put out here before I get to class. Man, I'm just, you know, I was just on here watching you. I don't know if you know this, Jay, but Bill Russell played with a point guard named JoJo White, I believe.
Oh, and yeah, his son is an actor too.
Right, and I don't know if you know this either, but JoJo White played in Kentucky under Coach Adolph Rupp, and that team also had Pat Riley, and we all know who that is.
And that's the team that played against the 5 black starters and play against them at first. They made a movie about it too.
Yeah, JoJo White was a bad man, man. I'm telling you.
And he was, I think, more of a 2 guard back then because he had Bob Cousy.
Yeah, Cousy was on that.
Yeah. Brother Ralph, what's up, man? I saw your camera was working, man. Don't be shy. Come on through, man. What's up?
What's up?
How you doing, man? Yeah. Okay. What's up, man? What you think about the stream and Aries combo?
I got in there a little late. I had to drive up to New York City. I'm in New York right now, visiting family and stuff. But I did catch the end of it. It was good. He had a couple jokes in there.
Yeah. So, what you think about the Bill Russell versus Wilt discussion, and if that was a fair competition? I saw you had a couple comments on that one.
Oh yeah, I mean, Wilt. I mean, there's no way to compare that. I mean, Wilt was just eating them up. I mean, you see the head-to-head matchup averages, plus just even looking at game by game. I mean, he was tearing them up.
Man, big time. Key, what you think about Bill and Wilt and the competition back then?
I mean, hey, it speaks for itself, man. Wilt was just that dude, and Wilt had Elgin Baylor, Jerry West. I think Archie Goodwin was on that team too, if I'm not mistaken. But I think
it was Gail Goodrich.
Yeah. There you go. Gail Goodrich. Yep, that's the one.
But that was in the 70s, though. But yeah, Wilt was old by then too, but he was still a baller, though. He was no longer the 50-point Wilt. But like I showed, this dude still averaged like 18 rebounds and 36.
Yeah, Wilt was Wilt was blocking that signature hook shot Kareem was doing, man. He was like, nah, that's not working on me, mate. That's not working on me, young fella. But Wilt was that dude, man. Wilt was that dude. I don't know why people don't consider him like top tier as far as the greats go, man. Because I rarely hear Wilt's name in that conversation.
That's true, man. You think Wilt? What would Wilt?
I think one of the things that surprised me was like how many minutes he was playing per game. That was pretty impressive.
Man,
you talking about playing that many daggone minutes? That's a lot.
Especially as a big man, you know they used to hack.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Imagine people smacking you for 48 minutes every game.
No 3-point line either. So
you gotta figure he's sitting there like load management. What?
Right. Exactly. He didn't come out no.
And this is at a time where like medicine and modern medicine was not, you know what I mean? Like you couldn't train probably the way that these people train. Like,
yeah. And guys used to smoke in the locker room back then.
Mm-hmm. They was doing it. Yeah. They was doing it in MJ's day too. MJ said they would be drinking a beer at halftime.
Yeah. Yeah. So imagine then, then we already know what Wilt was doing after the game. He was putting up more numbers in the bed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had a little personal layup line. He had ladies laid up for his ass in the line. Wilt
Yeah,
boy,
it was.
straight
Yeah.
up. So
It was
Wilt,
a time. It was a time.
legendary.
Wilt was beefing with Kareem at one point too, wasn't he?
He was. Kareem. You must have saw that documentary with Kareem. Did you see that? It was actually very good.
I didn't see all of it, but I did see a part of it. But I know
Okay.
them two was going at it for some years.
Yeah, so Kareem in the documentary, I think it's called Minority of One. It's really good. Kareem lived a hell of a life by him being the age he is. He was with Wilt, Martin Luther King. You know, he was at that meeting with Martin Luther King and Ali and them. Not Martin Luther King, but it was Ali, Jim Brown, and all of them. Kareem was young.
Man, Kareem played under John Wooden too at UCLA.
Legendary
Legend.
John Wooden. Yeah.
Legend.
And Kareem is probably the greatest prospect ever, though, because I think they only lost one game his whole high school career. Then he only lost, I think, one game in college in like 4 years at UCLA. Then he went to the NBA, was winning. He got 6 championships, 5 or 6 MVP. Like Kareem is a hell of a player. But he was saying in that documentary that he looked up to Wilt Chamberlain as a young player, and Wilt like took him under his wing, gave him some old suits of his. He said it still smelled like cigarettes at the club and stuff. And he said he used to wear his suits and stuff and look up to it, which I guess, you know, you 7 feet and never 7-footed, and he a legendary hooper giving you clothes. That's like your prized possessions and stuff. But as Kareem's getting into the NBA and was like becoming a great player, like people was like saying Kareem this, Kareem that, and Wilt stopped liking him and used to start talking about him and stuff, like a little bit of jealousy in a way. So that's when they had started beefing a little bit. And, you know, I think if I remember correctly, they never really squashed that beef before Wilt died. And Wilt died at a young age. I think he was only in his 50s.
Yeah,
he was 63. He was 63, which is still not that old though.
When did he pass? Did he pass in the
when did he pass? 90s, 1999. Yeah. So I remember being shocked when he passed. Like, what? Like, he's the first superstar that's passed, really. This era, like everybody else still alive. Bill Russell's still alive. Basketball players live a long time compared to football players.
I mean, they got a lot of money, so
they do. Bill Russell actually just put his house for sale. He's been living in Seattle in that house for 50 years because he became the coach of Seattle at the time, and he bought that house, and it's put up for sale. I think I posted it in Discord. For people to check it out in the NBA tab on Discord, and it got pictures of it. That house is nice, man, out in Seattle. But you know, anyway, yeah, Wilt, man. I mean, this stats is amazing. 37 and 27, 27 rebounds a game. That's crazy. This dude averaged 50 points.
That's a lot. Yeah, he's just grabbing everything that come off the rim.
For real. Like Tim Duncan is probably the best center big man we've had other than Shaq in this era. Or he arguably could be in the top 3. You could put in Olajuwon or others. Tim Duncan's best season was 25 points and like 12 and a half rebounds. This dude doubled it with 50 points.
Oh, you don't see nobody rebound the ball like that these days. I mean, not since probably maybe like Dennis Rodman, and that he ain't scored. He was just rebounding. That was his one job, rebounding.
And Rodman, you're right. And Rodman best year rebounding was 18 rebounds a game, and that was his worst year when he was 36 years old at 18, and he still led the league.
If somebody grabbed 28 rebounds in one game, they celebrate that. Never mind the whole season.
Right. Big time. Yeah, definitely they celebrate that. So, and you know what's another thing that's really sad is that the NBA didn't keep track. Yeah, the NBA didn't keep track of blocks during his career or steals.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like we don't even know how many shots he blocked or steals because the NBA didn't keep track
Oh
of it.
yeah,
That's
he probably did
crazy.
average a triple double.
He probably did. Probably came close to it, man. This man, they don't. That's a travesty almost that you can't see how many blocks a game Wilt Chamberlain averaged or steals, and they didn't separate rebounds between offense and defense. They just counted it as a rebound.
I mean, don't they have footage of most of the games? So they should just pay somebody to go back and just tally that shit up. You know?
Hey, man, I've thought the same thing, man. I've thought the same thing.
They pay for some
games
other
are not
dumb shit. They might as
televised.
well pay for that.
Yeah, like the game where he scored 100 points wasn't even televised.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's true.
That's crazy. Yeah, like it's almost some people don't think it happened if it wasn't for him taking that picture. And that picture was like thrown at the last minute, because it was something. What footage I was watching, some documentary, and the reporter was like, "Man, we got to do something, man, to show that he scored 100 points." And he took a piece of paper and wrote 100 and told him to hold that up. And he just took a picture. Yeah. Like the team didn't think of that.
You know what that sound like, though? Right. Yeah, you know what that sound like, though, Jay. Somebody will lie, be like, "Hey, man, just let me draw. I put up 100 points. You take the picture of me holding it like this, and we just make it, you know, because some people, you know how people be like, oh, that's not real and all that. Like, you know how that be. But.
Yeah, we know people like that, so.
All right, Jay, I'm going to catch you later, man. I got to get
man. Hey, right. I appreciate it, man, and have a good day at school, man.
All right, no problem. Appreciate it.
Right. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, man, so appreciate you for coming through, Key. And also Ralph, I appreciate it, man. What you think? You think Wilt could what would he do if he played today? We always talk about what Jordan would do if he played today. What you think Wilt could do if he played today in his prime?
I mean, I don't know that he could be as dominant like with them rebounds. You know, right. I feel like people are definitely bigger now, just physically stronger too. You know, but he was still, I think he could easily average probably 20 and 10 or 12, something like that, you know. So it's not like he would be terrible or anything, but he wouldn't. You could almost say he'd have probably half his rebounds just because you just got bigger people, you know. But points wise, he probably still average about the same.
Okay. I go with that. I mean, not the 50.
I always say, like, what do you think LeBron would do, like in the 80s or 90s? You know what I mean? When you can't sit there and cry about all these fouls and flopping all the damn time. Right. Not that he flopped a lot, but you know, like imagine
he did
like a
at
James
one
Harden
point,
or
though.
something.
Yeah, he stopped flopping so much, but he was flopping a lot. Then when the league came with the anti-flopping rules and stuff, he kind of stopped doing it as much, but he was a big flopper at one point. Which flopping is a part of strategy in a way, but it's a weak strategy. You know what I mean? Where you're trying to get the rep.
You don't stand there and like act like the dude knocked you over. Like, play the game. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna beat me, like beat me because you better than me, not because you fell over and said, "Oh, the dude ran into me." Like, come on.
Exactly. Like Jordan wouldn't flop just because he wouldn't give you the satisfaction of thinking that you actually pushed or got the better of him like that.
Right.
You know, if anything, he go come
and
back.
And that's why I feel like that's a big difference with LeBron and MJ. It's just, I think, talent-wise, LeBron probably has more talent, but he just don't have that killer instinct. I never really seen him have a killer instinct. Like, I'm gonna put my foot on your throat and I'm just gonna, you know, kill you now. You know, I never seen him have that kind of demeanor or carry himself that way. I think maybe the one time I seen him play, like really up his game to try to carry a team on his back was, who was that? Was that the Wizards that they was playing? Or maybe it was Celtics. I don't remember. I remember they had went to overtime and he was balling.
Oh yeah, the Celtics when he dropped like 40 points and whatever the case, that was like his best career game. Yeah.
To me, yeah, that's probably his best game I ever seen him play, because he just took the team, put it on his back, and said, "We're gonna do this." Everything else, I mean, it just seemed like it just come naturally just because he's so talented. Like, it don't seem like he got to work so hard. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. I agree with you, man. And that what you're saying about your talent is part of the reason why a lot of talented players don't make it to as a success in the NBA. Because playing in high school or college, you're so talented, it didn't have to take a lot of hard work. But once you get in the NBA, everybody is talented. So you got to do that extra work like a Ben Simmons need to do in order to continue to be great or be on that next level. You know what I mean? He's always been the best player.
Something else, man.
Right. And he used to being the best player on every court that he's ever played on. But in the NBA, that ain't the case. You know, and
man, I'd say if I was a GM signing Ben to his next contract, you gonna make $1 million for every free throw you make, or every percentage you average over 75% free throw or something. I mean, you got to that dude is terrible. Like, you can't tell me you can't learn to shoot, and you get paid millions of dollars to play a sport that you love, and you won't take the time to learn how to shoot. That's ridiculous.
For real. That's for real. And like you were saying about maybe LeBron may be more talented than Jordan, it's a lot of people that may have had better skills or, you know, more talented than Mike, but they didn't have that heart and that dog in them that made the skill set propel them to being great. You know, it's people that was faster or could probably jump just as high or, you know, could shoot better or dunk just as good, but they didn't put it all together or have that drive. Like Westbrook, to average a triple-double, that take a drive and a heart. You know what I mean? It ain't that he's the most skilled. He wants it, you know.
I mean, it's tough to average a triple-double because you got to figure, like, to me, the hardest thing is the assists, because you got to rely on the other person to score. That dude missed a shot, or somebody block a shot, or they foul them, and then they can't even put it up or whatever. So I mean, it's hard to get them assists. But I think the one thing with, like, MJ had to fight to get to where he was. Like, he was cut from his high school basketball team. You know what I mean? LeBron, he just walk in and naturally, like, he just so gifted. He's so big. He's so strong that he don't really need to work so hard. Where MJ had to work so hard to just, I mean, same thing with Kobe. You know what I mean? Kobe had to work so hard. I mean, Kobe didn't start in the league when he came in. He was coming off the bench.
Yep.
You know, and so LeBron, he already came in, come out of high school, getting drafted, like,
the chosen one.
You know, it's a whole different dynamic. If he'd come in and had to fight for everything he got, you appreciate it more, and you probably take it a little differently.
Right. And that's probably why he didn't develop that killer instinct, because he didn't have to fight to get where he was so much.
Right.
The only time he really
everything handed to him.
Exactly. The only time he started to develop it really is after he got his ass whooped by Dallas. And he kind of shut down, and then he had to, like, kind of rebuild himself, and then that's when he kind of used to have that mean LeBron when
he bulked up a little bit after that.
D Wade helped him get that.
To me, honestly, like, one of the probably best, like, offensive scorers to me is like Carmelo Anthony. That dude can score. Same thing with, like, Kevin Durant. Just pure like offensive. They gonna kill you on the offensive side. Day in and day out, no matter what.
And he led Syracuse to a championship his 1 year there. You know, Carmelo, and he was. They messed up drafting him third because he was really almost as good of a prospect, if not better, than LeBron coming into the NBA. It's similar to, like, what just happened with the two people that came out this year, Jalen Green and what's his name, Cade Cunningham or something, because Jalen Green is and Jalen Green is a great scorer like Carmelo, but Cunningham
Yeah.
may not be as great of a scorer, but he can score, pass, rebound. So overall, his ceiling may be higher. But like Melo is already, like Jalen Green, a great scorer, which you can't really teach. Same with Durant. Remember, Durant couldn't even bench press like 200 pounds on his rookie year or something. He could only do it like 3 or 4 times. Everybody was laughing at him, but look what happened. He got
And he
bigger.
don't play defense.
That's true. He don't, which is crazy because he could be the best defensive player in the league if he wanted to be. At 7 foot as a small forward, who could shoot over him? He fast. He could got a hell of a wingspan, but he don't play. That's an effort, category. Just like rebounding is an effort category.
This is the reason why there's only so many Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. That's just great on both sides of the ball. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of effort out of you to try to do that.
Yep. And that's another thing people don't give Mike credit. He was all defense first team like 8 times. LeBron, I don't think never was all defensive first team player. This right here is the NBA when Wilt played. It was 8 teams in the NBA, just 8. Like 8 teams make the playoffs on the East and the West side. Now it was only 8 in the whole NBA. And it was only 2 rounds. You had the semifinals and then the Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals and then the finals. So 2 rounds and then the championship game.
I thought, I kept thinking that when I was younger, that the NBA would expand, like get global, more worldwide, have some international teams and stuff like that. I mean, I get it. It's, the travel and all that, but, you could do like baseball, go overseas and play a team 2-3 games or something, back to back, and they come back. I mean, they did it during COVID, basically. Go and play two back-to-back games against the same team, but I don't know.
But the talent ain't there. There's no point in playing them, because if they was really good, they'd be in the NBA, like Luka and all of them, because they make more money. So, they wouldn't.
Well, I don't mean like the overseas teams would have just international players, but just that we would just have more players in the league, have more teams, and just expand it.
Right.
I mean, they went to Canada, but that's it.
Yeah, that's true. They need to bring another team back to Vancouver, but we'll see. Sun King saying Jordan would flop. He said Jordan wouldn't flop. Come on, Jay, stop it. Jordan did not flop, bro. What is you talking about? Was Jordan a flopper? Did you see Jordan flop, Ralph? You muted. I can't hear you now for some reason.
Yeah.
I hear you now. There you go.
Yeah, sorry, I had a call coming in. No, he was too competitive to be a flopper. There's no way that I feel like he could do that. He's just way too competitive.
Yeah, and Sun King is hearing stuff. Neither one of us said LeBron doesn't work hard. So I don't know what you get, but out of that, I would say Ben Simmons don't work as hard. You said LeBron made first team all defense 5 times. Let's double check. I don't remember him making all defense, but he may have. Let's see. If he made first team all defense 5 times, I'll be surprised. And I'll be wrong, and I'll stand corrected. So let's see. So it say right here, LeBron made all defense 6 times. Okay, I'm surprised. Let's see. It don't say if it's first team or not, but I damn sure didn't. That's surprising to me. LeBron all defensive player 6 times. I mean, a lot of stuff is given to LeBron though too. Ain't trying to hate on LeBron. I see you a LeBron fan over there, Sun King. Let me see what they say about his awards. He never was defensive player of the year like Jordan, but I give it to him. He made all defense 6 times. That's surprising. I didn't think that he did that. So,
Jay, I gotta get off. But it was good talking to you.
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate you coming through, man. And I always see your comments and stuff, man. So I appreciate you supporting the channel, man.
No, always love.
All right, man. You take it easy. Yeah. All right. And yeah, I'm about to get ready to wrap it up as well. But yeah, MJ was not a flopper, Sun King. And LeBron did make all defensive, but it doesn't say you know, what team it was. So, you know, we'll just have to take it. LeBron has made $350 million in NBA salary, and he got another 85 million coming, which would be over 400 million in NBA salary. Wow. And he didn't start becoming the highest paid player on the team till he was like his last year with Miami. No, till he got with Cleveland. Yep, because he said no longer is he going to take a pay cut, which is crazy. So, anyway, you say NBA expansion is what led to us having these super teams to spread out the talent more, and only the real ballers made the league. That's true. That's true. It spread out the talent so that it's a lot more weaker teams. You know, it's a lot more weaker teams. It actually made it so that the talent, the good players can get on teams together and can beat up all these other teams because the talent is spread out. It's not as many good teams. He got all those defensive teams mostly with the Heat. I could believe that. As everybody was on his jock with the Heat. And he did play his best defense with the Heat. I know his last 3 years, he definitely did. So, you know, yeah, chase down blocks. Yeah, he wasn't a great on-ball defender. That is true. MJ would not flop in today's game, man. I don't know where you get that from. And he quit the game twice because of the media. He not that mentally tough. All right, you tripping right there. So, Jordan didn't quit the game because of the media. First time he retired is because his father died. And he said, you know, he had to deal with that and that he didn't want to play without his father, you know, seeing him. His father got to see his last game, stuff of that nature. Then also it was allegedly maybe something with gambling. The second time he retired, just like ARIES said, is because of the 2 J's, Jerry Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause, wanted to retire Phil Jackson, wanted to fire him. Jordan didn't want to play no more. He didn't want to retire, but he decided he was going to go ahead and retire out of loyalty to Phil Jackson. And so he retired. It ain't had nothing to do with the media or not being mentally tough. You making up stuff, man. Sun King 97. Was that the year you was born? So you don't know nothing about Mike. He was born in 97. Like Jordan he retired in 98. He was 1 year old. I'm just saying, you got a little bit of info mixed up, Sun King. And I put the link early in the description this time, and you could have came up and talked. You ain't come up and talk, man. Now I'm wrapping up the show. You wanted to talk yesterday. I put the link in. You could have jumped in. Come on, man. And Mike did play every game like his last. You're right, Jazzy Jeff. And Jeff, you got to join the Discord community. I see you a member. Come on through in the Discord community and chop it up, man. We can keep the conversation going, man. You say also realize that Jordan didn't have any peace back then, and he dealt with a lot and stayed strong. I mean, for real, Jordan was probably the most famous person in the world other than Michael Jackson. So, I mean, come on, man. Yeah. I am about to wrap it up. So, you know, I get it. We're going to make this happen again and you be able to come through. But I'm about to call it a night right here, though. Jazzy Jeff, come on through, man, and the members. And I'll catch you the next time, man. Everybody, I appreciate y'all for coming through. I must chop up this video so that y'all can tune in to the Aries Spears and check it out. I appreciate Aries Spears for coming through. And I appreciate y'all for coming and watching and checking it out. Ralph and Key, appreciate y'all for coming on. And I'll catch y'all next time. Everybody take care. Peace. And I'll see y'all later. I'm out.